Hi, Tus. I hope you've had a good month so far. This is your life path number reading for the mid-month of December, from December 15th to January 15th. And as you can see, we are live in this video. Of course, this message is for you whenever you find it, if it resonates with you. But I am doing it live just because I found that when I was recording and trying to edit the videos and prepare them to upload, it just always took a lot longer, and it also caused me a lot more stress than I wanted. So I'm sorry if you can hear the fan to my computer. I can't really hear it, but I do know that it comes through pretty loudly in the camera, so hopefully it's not a distraction to you. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Morgana Braid, High Priestess of Maiden Circle Coven and Academy, and you can find out more about what Maiden Circle does in the description below. And Morgana Braid, just right off the bat, is not my legal name. My name is Victoria Wilder, and you can also find me online by that name. It is not a secret. This is just my coven name. So welcome to your life path readings. If you are not new, then you recognize this setup. If you are new, I recently started putting out the cards like this just to kind of save us some time, because if you haven't noticed yet, your girl likes to talk. I like to ramble, and when I shuffle, I talk even longer, and the readings end up being like double the amount of time that they generally are, and they're already about 20 minutes. So I'm trying to save you some time and me some time, because I live in New York and I don't have time. I'm kidding. But really, I just didn't think there was a point to taking that much time out of your day when we could just get to the reading, which is kind of, I don't know if that's irony, considering I've been talking for 2 minutes. So let's get going with your reading. This is for those with a life path number of 2. I would like to say that I think our life path numbers are very, very important to the way we express ourselves and the way we can like experience the world and like interact with the world that we live in. But I also want to note that if this doesn't resonate with you, that's totally normal. These are still general readings. And I would say to check both your name chart and your birth chart and see if there's another number that that shows up more. Because if it does, then you can go check out the reading for that when it comes up, and it might connect with you better, okay? So let's go ahead and get started with your reading. We are going to start by asking the die for your overall message. So what is the overall guided message for those with a life path number of 2 for the period between December 15th to January 15th, December 15th, 2019 to January 15th, 2020? What is their overall guiding message? You have a 6. So I look at the ones that I see on top, and I saw a 6. This too may desire validation, but might be disappointed to find that it isn't given. Look within for the validation that you seek. Okay, so you might be wanting someone to tell you you're good enough, or if you want someone to tell you that, you know, you aced the test, or that you did right by someone, or just to forgive you for something. Like, you want that kind of validation. And this is telling you that don't hold your breath. You know, like, you maybe want, like, maybe the kind of person, just because of your life path number, you may be the kind of person who will put yourself out there for other people all the time, and then get really, really bent out of shape when they don't appreciate it the way you think they should. That may be something you're going through right now, okay? And this is saying to kind of let it go and really, really just understand who you are, understand yourself and your own capabilities, and you're not going to need them to see it, because you'll know, okay? So let's see what your direct message is. Chances are, if you resonate with this card, then you're probably going to connect a little bit with the rest of the reading. Let me know how that works out for you. And let me know if you do resonate with the readings, because your feedback is really, really important. It helps me in ways you would never believe, you know, like, it helps the channel, of course, but it also spiritually, I think, helps me continue to see the merit in the work that I'm doing. And I know, like, I just talked about validation, and it's not necessary. I don't need that validation, but it feels good, right? So let me know in the comments. So what is your direct guiding message for the month of December through December 15th through January 15th? seeing the true you. I think this has a lot to do with that need for validation. This is telling you, it doesn't matter what other people say you should like. It doesn't matter what other people say you should do. You know who you are. You know your truth. You know what's right for you. And maybe you haven't been living up to that in a while, but you know deep down that someone else's business, that's not necessarily your cup of tea. And you may have tried to stomach it. You may have tried to push yourself into doing what other people wanted you to do, or into being this person that just was inauthentic. And now you're coming into a place, and maybe, I said this in the last reading, but I feel like we're all kind of in this place where we're reassessing, because we're not just coming to the end of the year, but we're also coming to the end of a decade. And it feels crazy, like it feels wild. So maybe that's just kind of where you are, where you're just really trying to figure out who you are and what's important to you and what makes you your most true, authentic self. And unfortunately, you may be having this energy where you're asking other people to tell you what's your authentic self. And so that's been a struggle for you, okay? So let's see what's going on the soul level. So this is what's going on in your spirit, what it wants to bring to the surface, what your soul needs you to know for this 4-week period. The Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is someone who is very logical, very direct, gets things done. But looking here at this card, I feel like you're not tapped into your power yet. Like you haven't, as a 2, I feel like you have a lot of skills when it comes to communication, when it comes to speaking out. And this Queen of Swords, that's what she's able to do. But she also has a tendency to have very sharp words. She has a tendency to kind of cut people down with her words. And on this side, I'm feeling like you have to be careful, because there's still some things that are unclear to you. On a spiritual level, there are still some things that your soul is trying to suss out, trying to understand. And I think that's because you're still struggling with understanding who you are. You're not necessarily on a steady foundation of being your true, authentic self. Like I said in the beginning, you might be asking for other people to tell you who you are. You might be asking for other people to tell you what's the next right step for you. And so you're, even at a spiritual level, you're clouded. Part of you knows, like your soul, I think, knows on that spiritual level. It knows that it wants to take control. You want to take charge of your life. There's a very methodical energy that I'm getting from this card. From you right now, I'm getting a very methodical, kind of thoughtful, like someone who doesn't take a lot of chances kind of energy. And you're doing this, you're doing a lot of things with conviction to an extent, but not enough conviction that it's really, really showing the universe that you desire it, or that you're trying to manifest it. And that's because there is no steady foundation. It's really hard to make a commitment or be convicted about something when part of you is just not sure who you are, or whether it's really what you want, or whether it's really for you. And I think that's something you're struggling with on a very deep spiritual level, okay? So let's see what's going on in your heart and mind. This is what's going on in the subconscious, what you've been maybe thinking about, or just kind of what's been in the back of your head, or what's going to be in your head, in your heart, for December 15th to January 15th. You have the Knight of Wands. So there's a passion to get things done, right? Like I said with that Queen, is that you need to get things done, and you want to get things done emotionally, mentally. You're like, okay, I really, really want to make this change. I want to trend, and there's movement. You want to move into a new way of being. You want to go forward and actually create something, and actually take charge of your life. I actually want to see what the little booklet says for this card, because I don't know, I feel like I need to check that out. So we have the Knight of Wands. One who seeks adventure and excitement. can indicate a desire to travel or explore risky environments. Yes. So I didn't say it earlier, but for some reason when the queen came out, I felt like there was some risk being taken. Like you, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like you you're trying things. You're trying a lot of things. They may not be for you, but you are trying. You are putting yourself out there. I don't see you as someone who's just been kind of sitting on the sidelines. Even though you're asking for validation, even though you really want someone else to be like, you're right. Whether or not someone does that, I think you're still going to be acting. You're still going to be moving forward and desiring to make change. And I think that's why you have this Queen of Swords energy, because like I said, she is someone who takes charge. She's someone who kind of gets business done, but she can also be very cold and very sharp and very logical, even almost to the extent of being like robotic in the way she approaches things. And so I feel like that's kind of where you've been, because, and that's where you've been having to be because of that shaky foundation, right? So you have to be like, all right, I have to try to be disciplined. I have to make things happen. I have to move forward, regardless of whether or not I know how it's going to play out, because that is how I'm going to try to create some solid foundation for myself. So I do feel like there's just a lot of energy of needing to move forward, needing to take action on something, but just maybe not being sure what that is. So let's see what's going on in your physical experience. This could be your family life. This could be your home, your health, your finances. This could be your job. This could be a car. This could be anything that's going on in your physical earthly life. And you did get an extra card that jumped out, so we're going to look at that first. Ten of Swords. Yeah, so there's some possible backstabbing, but I'm more so just getting exhaustion. I'm getting like you're just really tired, maybe feeling sleepy all the time, and you really, really need to rely on your strength. That's these two cards together. That is kind of funny because with the Ten of Swords, so there's this in this deck in the Gila Tarot. There's it's like a guy laying on the ground, and also, and I think the vice versa, it's a guy laying on the ground with like 10 swords sticking out of him or hanging over him or something like that. And so because this card is very sparse with information, I'm drawing on those images, and I just feel like you're just exhausted. You're just tired. You worked hard, or maybe you've just been working a lot. Maybe you haven't necessarily been putting your energy into the right spaces, and it's just kind of taking you down. It's kind of exhausting you, and also it could be this part of your soul, this voice in your head. She could be cutting you down a lot. You could be telling yourself that you're not good enough, or that you can't do something, or that you're not meant to do something, because again, you're looking for someone else to tell you that you are, and if you don't get that validation, then you're telling yourself you're not worth it, you're not good enough. And I think you're going to really, really need to stay strong, and really be careful, because like I said, this could have to do with relationships and backstabbing. So really be careful in December to January, the next 4 weeks. Really be careful of someone coming in and trying to tear you down, someone who can see that you're craving that validation and using that against you. Really just be careful of someone who's like who notices the insecurity that may exist within you. That, I mean, everyone has a level of insecurity somehow. If someone tells you they have no insecurities, they're probably either lying or like a sociopath or a narcissist or something. Every normal, healthy person has insecurities, or even unhealthy. Every person who is not a robot has insecurities, and there are people who will see that and worm their way in and spread it and make it bigger. So be very, very, very careful of that over the next 4 weeks. Be very strong. Stand firm in your beliefs. Stand strong in who you are. If someone tries to tear you down, or someone tries to tell you that you're not being who you're supposed to be, let this queen come out. Okay, let her say what she's got to say. Be clear, be direct, and cut people off if you need to. Okay, so this is also a cutting energy. This is also an ending. right? 10 is an ending. So some of you are just ending relationships. Some of you are cutting things off that are not serving you so that you can be more authentic and true to yourself. And that may hurt. It may cause you some struggle. And so you're going to really, really need to rely on your spiritual and physical strength here. Some of you may even be dealing with health issues because this is in your physical house. So some of you may be dealing with some health issues. So really just be aware of your health and really cut off anything that is not serving you and not serving your authentic, true expression, because that is going to, I think, really, really propel you into 2020 with some very positive energy. So let's see what your support message is. This is the message of the being that you pray to or call on when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're grieving, when you're just wanting to give thanks. This is whoever it is that you feel most connected to. They are sending you a message of support. And you also got an extra card here. So what is the message of support for Life Path 2? When I'm in alignment with the love of the universe, peace cannot be disrupted. And when I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. Okay, so I think this is telling you, to really, really align with who you are. Do the things that bring you joy. Do the things that make you feel like you're really, truly yourself, and that is going to help create more of a foundation. I think you're like spiritually, even though you're sorry about the sounds outside, but even though your foundation isn't necessarily clear or as firm as you'd like it, you're still very, very powerful spiritually. You're still very strong. You're still very direct and very like able to make change. This is a time where you are powerful enough to make some change, even if you don't have all the answers, even if you can't necessarily, even if you haven't yet tapped into your power. I mean, that power is in you. It's right under the surface, okay? And it is ready for you to get to it, but you just haven't tapped into it yet. And I think that requires you to really stand firm in who you are and really go after the things that are important to you. Okay, so let's see what your closing remarks are. What are your final remarks for the month of December, or the 4-week period of December 15th to January 15th? For those with the life path number of 2, what is going on? So we have judgments. And I generally read this line as like a past thing. Oh, we have 8 of Swords. Life path 1 had 8 of Swords too. They had it as the first card. We have 8 of Pentacles. We have another 8. Yeah. Discipline, really hunkering down and being like, this is what I believe in, this is who I need to be. I think that may be important for you, but like I said, I do feel like this line often speaks to the past. So it's like in the past, you were called to make some change, you were called to move forward, but for some reason you felt like you were stuck and you couldn't. But with the 8 of Swords, it's typically like people who think they're stuck or think they can't move forward, but honestly, it's really them that's keeping them from making that change. And it really was you. Like I said, if this is something that happened in your past, it was you that was keeping you from making a change. And maybe you realize that, because then we have this 8 of Pentacles. So if you did realize that and you started studying, you started trying to understand the situation, you started trying to figure out, how to move forward. Alternatively, you just dove into some work or some study to avoid getting out of the problem, right? So like say you're a student and you're studying something that you absolutely hate, but you've already been there for 2 years, so you're just going to keep going and getting deeper and deeper into it, even though, by the time you graduate, you're never going to want to think about this subject again, right? We have the Knight of Pentacles. So there's this sense of being overwhelmed by all the abundance that was coming to you. So for some of you, I see that like maybe you were called to make some sort of change, you're called to break out of a situation that you were stuck in, and you had to learn and understand how to move forward. And then when you were able to move forward, it was a little bit frightening because it was very, very different from what you were used to. It was kind of overwhelming. But you know what? You have the King of Pentacles, the King of Swords, and strength again. Okay, to like power. When you become you, when you become your authentic true self, when you let go of these things, let go of this fear, let go of telling yourself that you're holding yourself back, let go of self-sabotage, stop it all. Because when you stop that, when you really take charge of your life and you really stand strong, you are going to find yourself beyond powerful. You are going to find yourself okay, so the King of Pentacles is a king who has all kinds of money, all kinds of abundance, all kinds of prosperity, but he's not necessarily paying attention to it. Okay. But then the King of Swords is someone who is a lot more stable and a lot more observant. He's paying attention to his life. So you have both of these together, and that's telling me that you're going to have so much abundance. You're going to have so much like prosperity coming into your life, and you're going to know how to deal with it. You're going to have to get really organized, though. I do think discipline is necessary here because we did have 2 8s, right? Just two. We had 2 8s here. And 8 is the number of discipline. And then we have the King of Swords, who is also a very disciplined person. And we have the Queen of Swords, again, another very disciplined, direct, logical kind of being. So I feel like this is going to be a month of you getting disciplined, you deciding what's right for you, you figuring out who you are, like really who you are, what you want to do, what path you want to take, what you're truly called to do, not what you thought you were called to do. Because with this judgment in your past, they feel like it was something that you thought you were supposed to do. And then when you spend so much time doing it that you just felt stuck in it. And now you're kind of moving into this place where you're learning something new. You're learning something, you're really like gathering new information. And that's bringing you to this journey of like moving into huge abundance. So this is like just before the dam breaks, right? This is just before like, so I'm just looking at the trend, the progress of these coins. The 8 of Pentacles is when you're quiet, you're in hermit mode, you're studying, you're preparing, and you're ready. You know that this abundance is coming for you, so you're preparing for it. And then you step into it, and it's a little bit scary, it's a little bit overwhelming. But if you stay the course, if you just don't let the newness of it, let the differences of it, because this is very different from where you were before. If you don't let that overwhelm you, then you are going to move into this energy of pure power. That's what I'm feeling. I am getting like we have 2 kings and strength. We have the lion on strength. As we know, the lion is the king of the jungle, right? So I am getting king. I am getting power. I am getting like you are divine royalty. You are powerful. Okay, this queen in your soul, she has power. She has unlimited like magical spiritual strength, and that is what you need to tap into, to connect to who you truly are, and because that's going to bring you so much freaking abundance like in 2020. In the next month, you are going to be moving into a much more stable, and it may not be, financial abundance. It could be like just something big and beautiful coming into your life, that you do have to be strong. Like I said, there may be someone who wants to take advantage of you, or who's going to backstab you, or who you just need to cut out of your life because they're not serving you. It may be something that's not serving you, but whatever it is going to require that you remain strong. And this doesn't have to be like the aggressive strongman strength either, because I feel like this is a very gentle strength. This is the strength of motherhood, almost. This is the strength of a woman who, goes through extreme pain, but at the end of it can only feel extreme love, you know? So I feel like that power and that feminine gentleness that you give to that power. And you don't have to be a feminine person to have femininity. Everyone has an aspect of feminine, masculine. So you take your feminine energy and give it to that masculine, powerful energy, and use that to create balance, because you're coming into a place of prosperity, and it's going to be very, very different. I think it's going to be different from what you've known before, because you have been feeling like stuck, and you have been wanting other people to tell you who you are and what's right. And now you're moving out of that. you are realizing who you are and what's good for you and what your true power is, what really makes you special. And that is really beautiful too. So hopefully that made sense, and I hope you have a wonderful, amazing evening. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you want to. And please feel free to say hi, comment, let me know how you feel, because like I said, it really, really means a lot. It really touches my heart. And again, thank you. I just want to say thank you. This is our last Life Path reading for number 2 of 2019. So thank you so much for the support this year. Thank you so much for all your messages and all your love and all your kindness. And wow, like, mind blown at how much love just exists on YouTube. So thank you all so much, and I hope you have an amazing, wonderful night, and I will see you in about a week or so in our pick a card and our 2020 reading. So until then, please remember always that I love you. Take care.